Donald Trump's exclusive interview with Laura Ingraham left me with one question. What kind of so-called leader gains the trust of half of the country just to then abuse that, take advantage of it, and rug pull them to leave them scared during natural disasters, leave them scared during things like COVID or during the 2020 election? Donald Trump has this repeated, it's not even a pattern, it is an instinct where he has to lie with every single sentence that he says, and today was no different, but the stakes are just a little bit higher because American citizens are actively dying in places like Georgia and places like Florida, North Carolina, and other states in that area. And instead of actually help, Trump wants to sow fear and division and make it seem like the Democrats aren't helping whatsoever. We're going to break all of that down. And even Laura Ingraham debunks Trump's lies a few times in a soft way. Obviously, she can't push back fully, but there's a few times where she says, actually, sir, President Biden was in North Carolina today. You can't lie like that. So let's start off with this clip of Laura Ingraham asking Trump, how would you handle the situation differently?
But more importantly than that is they don't have the people. They're not doing it. It's a very bad thing.
How would you do it differently?
I'd have a tremendous team of people here. They don't have any people here. The people are all, I was in North Carolina yesterday. I was in Georgia. And Georgia's different. You have a good governor. He's doing a very good job. But North Carolina is a disaster. And it was also hit very hard. But they don't have the people. And they're complaining there's no people around to help. That was a horrific storm, much worse.
Yeah, I'm sorry the governor of North Carolina isn't throwing paper towels at people and trying to draw Sharpies on maps, but Donald Trump says a lot of things here that are totally false. Everything he said about this hurricane is false, saying that FEMA is not even trying to help. They had to come out and rebut that. He said that Kamala Harris and Biden aren't even answering calls. Roy Cooper and Kemp had to come out and rebut that. Trump says there's not enough people on the ground. They have exhausted the maximum amount of resources. They are doing everything they can. And you know, Trump does so much wacky, insane stuff that it's almost hard to keep track of all of it, which is why I completely forgot about this article that came out a few years back that reads, Trump was serious about trading hurricane-stricken Puerto Rico for Greenland, ex-DHS official says. Quote, the president expressed deep animus towards the Puerto Rican people behind the scenes, says Miles Taylor. We even have reports that Donald Trump, as the President of the United States, had to be informed that Puerto Rico was in fact a part of the United States. He did not know that. This article reads, really quickly, Miles Taylor, a former DHS chief of staff, told MSNBC that Donald Trump asked him and other officials whether the U.S. could swap Greenland for Puerto Rico because, in Trump's words, quote, Puerto Rico was dirty and the people were poor. The exchange happened in August 2018 before DHS officials went on a disaster recovery trip to Puerto Rico, which had been devastated by Hurricane Irma and Maria in 2017. I did not take it as a joke, Taylor said. The president expressed deep animus towards the Puerto Rican people behind the scenes. These are people who are recovering from the worst disaster we've seen in our lifetimes, and he is their president. He should be standing by them, not trying to sell them off to a foreign country. And this was written a few years back. This was written in 2020, and this was during Trump's term in 2018, but he is still repeating this behavior 6 years later. He is putting politics above the American people, and he does that every single step of the way. For example, he's been lying and saying that President Biden has been withholding aid. President Biden refuses to call Governor Kemp. Governor Kemp refuted the first one, and the second one, DeSantis says right here that Biden has been giving him everything they want.
But everything we've asked for from President Biden, he has approved. And we do think we'll get more approvals for some of the individual assistance and the debris removal after landfall.
So Donald Trump lied about that too, but the thing that is still disgusting is that DeSantis is playing so much defense for Trump that we have reports he refuses to answer calls from Kamala Harris or President Biden. So this dude, he doesn't even deserve to be a governor. He's putting politics above his people who are in danger. President Biden wants to talk to him, wants to provide as much aid as possible and communicate, coordinate. That is what's supposed to be done between federal and state officials, yet Governor DeSantis does not want to play ball. It's absolutely disgusting. Here's another clip of Trump talking about the horrific storm. It's just, he's using his vacuous businessman-like rhetoric, but he's doing it about a natural disaster. He's going to say something like, you never think this could have happened. You would have never thought something like this could have happened. Just watch.
They don't have the people, and they're complaining there's no people around to help. That was a horrific storm, much worse. And you know, it's late in the season. You wouldn't think a thing like that could happen, but you have to get the people out, and they have to be out much more. I was there for the entire day, and I saw virtually nobody other than the people that were badly affected. And
something that we need to hammer home as well is how climate change directly led to this hurricane. And conservatives have been undermining the legitimacy of climate change for years. Now to be scared, to be scrambling, which they should be, they're justified when a storm comes. But hey, you guys have been saying this doesn't exist for many, many years. Also, Trump keeps saying that we're right at the end of hurricane season. We are smack dab in the middle. Hurricane season runs in the Atlantic from June 1st to November 30th. So being in early October is about right in the middle, and that doesn't seem like a huge deal. But as the guys at Pod Save America pointed out, if somebody like Howard Dean in 2004 made a mistake like this, it would have been campaign ending. Like, nevertheless, the scream that he did, that would have been campaign ending. Here's Ingraham talking about Buttigieg and Elon, and watch Trump's response.
Response has been so bad to the hurricane. This response has been horrific.
But didn't Elon praise Pete Buttigieg, saying he cleared the way for some of my helicopters to come in? He praised Buttigieg.
Well, that was 2 days late, because what happened is he sent his great, gadgets in. He has the Starlinks. It's incredible for
Trump doesn't know what Starlink is, by the way.
Communication. But they were asking me, the people of North Carolina and representatives, they said, could you possibly speak to Elon Musk and get it? And Elon came through, and then they sent it in, and they wouldn't allow it to go in. And it took 2 days, and then Buttigieg, as you said, Buttigieg called, and I guess after 2 days later. And
were they shamed, are you saying, into
Of course they were.
It
was huge publicity that they wouldn't allow. He had helicopters bringing stuff in that's not even gettable.
Okay, first of all, you guys noticed how Donald Trump said Buttigieg's name, right? He said Boot-edge-edge in a weird, disrespectful way. But also, I think this is a perfect example of why everything Trump says is BS. He acts like the guy who can circumvent bureaucracy and get around it and help the American people. But when he tried to do that, with Elon, they didn't communicate with Pete Buttigieg. They didn't communicate with Biden because they refused to answer his calls. So when you lack communication with the federal government and you're trying to do a local thing, then you're not going to be able to execute on that. And that is a microcosm of Donald Trump's entire strategy. He tries to circumvent the processes, the laws, and in the process, he runs into a roadblock and acts like that roadblock shouldn't be there. But when Pete Buttigieg explained that, he said, hey guys, we can't have unauthorized vehicles and planes coming in. That just does not work like that, especially when the military is trying to get their stuff done. Pete Buttigieg specifically said, all you had to do was ask and communicate, but Donald Trump would rather go the long way and then act like he was being persecuted the entire time. We have a few more clips. By the way, make sure you guys leave a like on this video and comment a blue heart. I don't know if I said that. Trump says here, he had a thing for being delivered, but then they got there and FEMA said they're going to keep it. Let's just listen.
He had helicopters bringing stuff in that's not even gettable. You can't even get it. I mean, honestly, Elon did an amazing job, because I called him and I told him the situation. They were trying to get it, but you can't, it's very hard to get. I called him, and he had things being delivered literally by the time I got off the phone. I'm even wondering, it was so quick. But then they got there.
None of this happened, by the way. None of this happened. It's been debunked by people at FEMA. It's been debunked by people on the ground. Trump and Elon didn't provide any unique necessities. Yes, I'm sure the Starlink does help with communications. That is great. We should not downplay that. We should not downplay that Starlink helps with communication, but we should also not let Trump and Elon run through us and say that they are single-handedly saving the entire situation. No, everybody's working together, and Donald Trump is working to undermine that.
And they said they're going to confiscate it. They're going to keep it. FEMA said they're going to keep it. They wouldn't terminate. Then the publicity got crazy, and then all of a sudden they released it.
What is Joe Biden?
That is not true. Even Elon confirmed the opposite recently. Here's Trump lying about the $750, and it's funny because Laura Ingraham kind of pushes back here in a way. So Trump says they're offering people $750, and Laura Ingraham hits him with a quick fact check. That's $750 for people with immediate needs. And then Trump says Kamala should be in North Carolina. Laura Ingraham says she was in North Carolina today. Just watch.
They're offering people $750
for immediate needs.
For the worst, but for the worst hurricane that anybody's seen.
I mean, Ingraham is right there. Even though it's a quick fact check, she didn't even really try. She is right. It does go up to $42,000 when it comes to home damages, stuff like that.
But she shouldn't be there anyway. She should be, I would say, North Carolina is bad, is so bad. And
she was there today for 3 hours, I believe.
Boom, yeah, she was. And Donald Trump has no idea what to say here. This reply says, quote, on September 13th, 2018, Donald Trump baselessly disputed official studies estimating nearly 3,000 Puerto Rican deaths from 2017's hurricanes, tweeting, quote, 3,000 people did not die, and accusing Democrats of inflating the toll to make him look as bad as possible, contradicting the findings of George Washington University and Harvard University research. Donald Trump genuinely said 3,000 people did not die. That is incredibly disgusting. Here's one more clip of Laura Ingraham talking about after the election.
How will you restore faith in our justice system? A lot of people will say, well, he's just going to do to them what they did to him and get back at them. And
a lot of people say that's what should happen.
Well,
you want to know the truth.
Right. Well, but I think...
When you say a lot of people are saying that should happen, do you mean you and your room temperature IQ sycophants? And yeah, if Donald Trump wants to prosecute any Democrat who stole classified documents, prosecute any Democrat who falsified business records, who tried to interrupt the peaceful transfer of power, I wouldn't fight. We don't go kicking and screaming. Remember when Mayor Eric Adams got indicted literally less than a month ago and all Democrats were like, good, take him. We literally don't care. If he committed a crime, get him out of there. We want normal politicians. We don't want corrupt politicians, but Republicans settle for anything. If you enjoyed this video and if you appreciate what I do, drop a like, hit that subscribe button. We have some great MAGA content coming out over this next week, so make sure you have that notification bell clicked on below. But most importantly, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.